Yo, I'm Bob, totally blind since birth, into Power Rangers, talking about Season 1, Episode 58 today. This one's called Football Season. It premiered on May 9th in 1994. I remember seeing this episode during the dog days of summer. I'd just gotten back from vacationing in Memphis, and Fox was miraculously added to our basic cable package. I'd watched the show religiously that summer via relatives in Memphis who had cable, my grandma, my dad, and it was like Power Rangers followed me home. And it would come on every morning at 6:30 for a little bit. So right when school started up again, I watched this episode early in the morning, got up with the chickens and watched it until Power Rangers was moved to 4:30 every afternoon. I think it replaced Batman the Animated Series. It took over Batman's time slot, and Batman was moved at Saturday mornings, and I don't know why I'm talking about Fox Kids' broadcasting schedule. You're to talk about Power Rangers, you goofball. So in this episode, Tommy's trying out for the Angel Grove football team, and not going too well for him. He doesn't really think he can get all the tackles and things like that down. But Ernie, who happened to be a college quarterback, he decides to help Tommy train. And I think that's one of the reasons why I like Ernie. He's always been one of my favorite characters. He's just an all-around Boy Scout of a character. Whenever we see him, he's willing to do whatever he can to help these kids. Encourage them, help them train, this, that, and the other. Gotta love Ernie in the franchise. And yes, we need a Lightning Collection Ernie action figure there, Hasbro. So on the moon, Rita's watching the tryouts along with Squat and Babu, and Goldar gives her the idea to send down the Rhino Blaster monster with a team of putties. Rita says, I want a smash down, and I think one of them corrects her. Oh, you mean touchdown? And Rita says, yeah, whatever. So you have Bulk trying out for the team as well, and Skull is his coach, and they've been reading a book that says some football players practice ballet, a little bit of ballet, so they'll be lighter on their feet. So you got Bulk in a tutu, and you've got Tommy and Ernie training there, and it's all set to this music montage. You've got the other kids in the park. They're playing a bit of football, I do believe. So putties are sent down to soften the kids up for the Rhino Blaster. Boy, it would be cool to have some descriptive audio tracks, or actually a descriptive audio track for every episode of this show, because I bet the fight scenes are pretty cool. So the putties are defeated. Zordon teleports the 5 to the command center while Tommy trains, lets them know that Rita has sent the Rhino Blaster down. They have to morph, and Rhino Blaster, he summons putties of his own. These guys, I remember them wearing jerseys, so that would be some interesting action figures to add to the Lightning Collection. Football playing putties wearing jerseys, yeah, I'd be down for a couple of those. Always cool to have bad guys wearing alternate outfits. So you've got the Rangers fighting the putties, then Rhino Blaster sends them to an alternate dimension, not an alternate dimension, a dimensional vortex, excuse me there. So he does this by firing some kind of mist at them, and so they're out of commission. Tommy's summoned to the command center. He's reminded that every time he uses his powers, they diminish, but he morphs anyway. And he's fighting the Rhino Blaster. Then Rita makes it grow, and Dragon Zord is summoned. It is a pretty crazy fight. This monster is very ferocious, and yes, I wish Hasbro would make that in the Lightning Collection. I used to own an 8-inch Rhino Blaster in the old Bandai line back in 94, 95, thereabouts. I would pit him against my transforming and combining Megazord and Thunder Megazord, etc., etc. So yeah, he'd be a fun monster. I always loved this guy's design. There's just something about a rhino wearing football gear. I always thought it was a kick-butt design. So what could this guy have in terms of accessories? So he could fire lightning from his horn, I think, so you give him a lightning effect piece. He had this curved sword. I think it was a curved sword kind of weapon. I don't know if the monster in the show used the sword. I know the action figure came with a sword, though. So I think that would probably need a blast effect piece as well. And, of course, the other Rangers, they are freed from the dimensional vortex. Tommy throws the Dragon Dagger into the vortex. We actually see him jumping in the Dragon Zord cockpit in this episode. So that was a pretty cool bit of scenery, I would guess. And then you've got the Megazord coming down, and they form the Mega Dragon Zord. And how did they finish him? I think they might have thrown some big sphere at him. I think when I had this episode taped from Power Playback, I think my brother described the Mega Dragon Zord finisher as some sort of sphere that he would throw. So whenever we do get this toy in the Zord Ascension Project line, it would be cool to get some kind of sphere that you can attach to the hands. I don't know if Dragon Zord could come with it, or Titanus could come with this kind of sphere effect, but you gotta be faithful to all the Zord finishers. I bet this one looked pretty cool. So yeah, Rita's upset that the monster is defeated. I think she has another headache. She always has headaches. And you have the tryouts being announced. Tommy makes the team, but Bulk actually makes the team too. So I guess he did pretty well. You have the episode ending, of course, with everyone laughing. And it was a pretty fun episode. It really stands out to me because Tommy's trying to weasel his way into distracting the Rhino Blaster long enough for him to throw the Dragon Dagger into that other dimension. And he's like, won't you please let me see my friends one last time? And Rhino Blaster, he delivers one of the most hilarious monster lines. He's like, well, since I'm such a nice guy, no! Just the way he says it, and then he cackles about it. It cracked 11-year-old me up, and it still does. I got to thinking, Tommy, he's not going to fall for your shtick, man. He's going to tell you no. He knows what you're up to. It was just a fun episode. I love the football playing Putties, and like I said, give me a rhinoceros wearing football player gear and wielding a sword and going up against the Dragon Zord with this kick butt kaiju battle. It had everything I loved about the show, and I'll always remember watching this at 6:30 in the morning with a big Otis Spunkmeyer chocolate chip muffin, which you can't buy at stores anymore, by the way. They only sell them at hotels and, I don't know, fancy gatherings, because I never see Spunkmeyer muffins and cookies at stores. Anyway, I'm going to call this a video and go crave chocolate chip cookies and muffins I can no longer find. I'll hear you guys in the next Power Rangers review when we discuss Mighty Morphin Mutants. Be here for that. May the power protect you, and have a great day.